Alright, let's go ahead and see the deep learning tools. There are many deep learning tools available in the market. The most famous deep learning tools nowadays is TensorFlow, Keras and the PyTorch. So these are the most famous deep learning tools nowadays in the market. So currently the industry is using the TensorFlow, but academia have started using the PyTorch. So if you see the models on the GitHub, mostly you will see those models are actually implemented with the PyTorch. But in industry, the TensorFlow is being used. Perhaps this is happening because, in industry, these professionals are there who have previously used the TensorFlow, because the PyTorch came after the TensorFlow. So the people who have been using in the company the TensorFlow, they kept using the TensorFlow. So that's the difference you will see in the market. But anyway, this TensorFlow is also used because whenever these big companies are recruiting the newcomers or the freshers, then also they need to make the code so that that code is compatible with the previous code. So they implement the models in the TensorFlow and the PyTorch both. I would recommend you to learn the TensorFlow as well as the PyTorch, but you first learn the TensorFlow so it would be easy for you to learn the PyTorch as well. Because while learning the TensorFlow, you will learn the fundamentals of the deep learning, so you don't need to put much effort in PyTorch there. The other tools are there, the Cafe. So again, this is not very famous. Cafe is not a famous. Then we have there MXNet. So this is also a flexible and efficient deep learning framework which supports the variety of language and the platform. Again, this is not very much famous. We have another one, and that's the open source deep learning library for Java and Scala. And these are used for the browser. But nowadays the TensorFlow has also came up with the browser machine learning models. So again, the people uses mostly the TensorFlow and the PyTorch there. Then we have the Microsoft Cognitive Toolkit and the Chainer and the Neon. So these are just, the kind of the deep learning models which was developed there. But again, these models or these frameworks could not compete with the TensorFlow, Keras and the PyTorch. So basically your focus should be learning these top 3 technologies first, and thereafter you can learn these based on in which company you are doing the job there. Alright, these are tools in deep learning, and many of these tools you might have been using or your company might have been using. So moreover, I can just give you, the sense of these tools. For example, for the data, where the data storage happens, so you can use these kind of the data, these kind of the tools. Like you can use there the databases which stores your data, and once your data is stored there, then you can use development and the training and evaluation. That means the model development and the training. So these kind of the tools you can use, like you can use the PyTorch, Keras, FastAI, the TensorFlow. These are the frameworks here. So when you train your machine learning models, then there are the multiple iteration or the steps happens there. Then you can use these experiment management tools like the weights and the biases, TensorBoard there. Other than that, if you want to keep your code at a single place, then you can use obviously the Git there, and you can use there the Jenkins, the Python, all these things you can use to develop your model or to develop your code. Thereafter, you have here the resource management, in which you can use there the Kubernetes, you can use there, the tabular data storage systems, or you can use there the Docker there as well, and you can use there the RiseML. So these kind of things are used there to containerize your models into a single package so that you can deploy this in one go. Once your model is ready, then you can use the other techniques to deploy your models. Like you have here the Jenkins, you have there the build kite, and then you have here the again Kubernetes, Lambda functions, Algorithmia, and the AWS systems there, SageMakers. All these things you can use there to serve your model into the production there. Alright, perfect. So this is all about in this lesson. I'll see you in next one.